What's good, Pioneer people? Bryant Cook. Today we're playing Wish Lotus Combo, a deck that I've featured here dozens and dozens of times here at the Epic Storm. Well, today we're playing an updated list. You might have seen my most recent video featuring Sheoldred from Dominaria United. If you haven't, you can find that video in the card above. It's gotten a ton of views, so thank you to everyone that's watched it. But in it, ultimately, I found that Sheoldred wasn't really the card we were looking for in Lotus Field Combo. Well, I never really considered the implication of playing it in the best deck in the format. I'm talking about red-black midrange, which brought a matchup that was overwhelmingly favored to not very good. So I started thinking, well, if people are going to be playing Narset effects, and by that I mean Sheoldred and or Narset, maybe we need to focus on a build that doesn't draw cards. And I started brewing Wish-based lists that could do that, but ultimately I wasn't going very far. So I decided, well, I'll play some stock versions of Ultimatum. And then I found that even the stock versions recently weren't playing Behold the Beyond or Dark Petition. They had gone back to playing Peer into the Abyss and some other things. So I started looking back to about 8 months to a year ago when the Behold lists were more stock. And that's really what sort of caught my eye. And I started playing that. I actually attempted to record that video playing just like a Behold list that's been updated a little bit, featuring some newer cards, and it stunk. I went 0-4 and I got smushed. So I decided that I was going to, maybe think about what worked about that deck list and see if I could port it over. And I have the list in front of you today that we will be playing. So I think the first thing is, if you're going to try to update Wish-based Lotus to not be a draw-based deck, so no Peer into the Abyss, no Valakut Awakening, it means that you can't play Niv Mizzet as your win condition. Unfortunately, I do love Niv Mizzet, but we're actually missing the approach from the sideboard. Sorry, I had to reconstruct this deck list today, so let's fix that real quick. So last night I put this list together, and I fell asleep without shutting Moto, and when you don't close Moto, it automatically closes, and then you lose your deck list, and I had to reconstruct it from memory this morning, and apparently I forgot the win condition. So we're using approach today, not Niv Mizzet, because you can't draw cards in order to win if you're trying to beat Sheoldred. And that's sort of the idea here. And I believe I ended up cutting the approach from the sideboard, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I cut the Behold. Let's cut the Behold for today. I don't think I need 4 copies of that card. Okay, so we'll do this. But the idea is that with Niv Mizzet, you can't draw your entire deck in order to win, which makes Valakut Awakening kind of crummy. So that means that we get to open up our deck to 2 more lands. And one thing that I really enjoyed about the Ultimatum build that I was playing was it actually had 3 copies of Boseiju, so you lost to things like Dampening Sphere less often, or Surprise Hate Pieces less often. And I found that was really good. Another thing I really enjoyed about it was, in general, more untapped green sources. So the list that I played, I don't know if this will be it. Yeah, this was the list that I played. Okay, so I played this and it stunk. But one thing that I liked about it was all these untapped green sources. So here we have 9, pretty healthy number. Well, here we actually have more than 9. We have 11. And that was one thing that I really liked about the deck, was that more often you were just able to play turn 1 a Boreal Grazer, which was a knock that people have had on my previous Lotus-based or Wish-based lists. They say, Brian, it's too hard to play Grazer, you don't play enough green sources, that sort of thing. So now we have 2 more green sources in our deck. We are playing a 3rd copy of Mana Confluence and the 3rd copy of Boseiju. I didn't actually like Blast Zone. I actually opened it a number of times, and it was super awkward not being able to cast my Sylvan Scryings or my Impulses. So I'm choosing not to play Blast Zone today, but instead I'm playing this extra copy of Mana Confluence. So we lost the Valakut Awakening. I did add in an extra Mana Confluence, so we can still play our Wish for the sideboard copy of Lotus Field. We'll be just fine doing that. What was the thing that worked about the previous list, the Ultimatum-based list? Well, Behold the Beyond was really that card. So what happens is you play Emergent Ultimatum, you get Behold, you get Omniscience, and then you get Dark Petition. They put Omniscience back into your deck, you get Dark Petition, Behold, and then you get Strings, Omniscience, and then Dark Petition gets Balagad Recovery, you Behold again, and then you get Lier plus some more mana and you win the game. That's how that list wins. But here's the thing. Lier and Omniscience are not friends. So the way that Omniscience is actually worded is it says cast from your hand. It's the same reason that Wish doesn't work with Omniscience. So that got me thinking, because I was playing the deck and I went, oh, I can't play these spells for free out of my graveyard, and it sort of hit me like a pile of bricks. I still won that game, but it was a lot more difficult than it needed to be. So I thought to myself, well, if we're eventually winning with Lier anyway, why do I need to put Omniscience in play? And if I'm not playing Omniscience, I can play Wish, and then this list started sparking in my head. And I said, okay, well, let's figure out how to make Behold work in this deck. And originally I started with like 1 Behold, 2 Peer, and then I was on 2 Behold, 1 Peer, and then I just said to myself, oh no, we should be on 3 copies of Behold. And the idea here is that you want to cast this Behold the Beyond. Like in the previous Peer-based list, you will need some mana floating. This is not Emergent Ultimatum. You will need some mana floating. That part hasn't changed. There are still 7 mana sorceries that are very powerful. And you'll search your deck for mana. Well, you can get a pair of Hidden Strings into Lier, which allows you to then Behold again. Or you can build some piles with Baral, Hidden Strings, Lier. I mean, these things are based on how much mana you have floating, right? Like the Baral Strings Lier line, you need 3 mana floating post Behold. But there's a number of lines you can make. Eventually, you start building like a Past in Flames based win with this Lier Disciple of the Drowned with the Hidden Strings. Eventually, you get your Wish, you cast Approach, and then you Impulse and or Pour over pages into the Approach again. That's the idea. So that's what we'll be doing today. It does beat Sheoldred. It does beat Narset. I understand I'm going a little bit long for the deck today, but I felt like I needed to explain this. A knock on this build has always been, Bryant, I feel like your list is slower because there's less green sources and you have a Lotus Field on the board. I actually hated this list. This was so clunky. I'm going to slide this over. One thing that I really disliked playing this list was, 1, the Blast Zone was constantly terrible, and 2, look at the curve of this deck. So you have Mastermind's Acquisition, a card that's pretty difficult to cast unless you're already winning. Okay, you have 2 copies of Dark Petition, 1 Behold, 3 Emergent, and an Omniscience. So I think in the list that I'm playing today, you could swap Emergent Ultimatum and Behold as a wash. You could consider those 2 both expensive cards were priced into playing. But then on top of that, you have Omniscience plus 3 more. So that's a full 4 cards in your deck that are uncastable. 5 if you want to count Mastermind's Acquisition. Fave Wishes I was actually really delighted with. I think if I was to play this version of the deck again, I would consider 2 copies of Fae. The downside is that Lier and Fae are not friends. Masterminds is. But I really liked Fae as a blocker. Just throwing that out there. I thought that was more valuable than playing Mastermind's Acquisition. And I think sometimes people don't reevaluate the metagame enough and what people are trying to do. So you might be saying, well, what about Necromentia? Who's playing that main deck anymore? Or even in the sideboard, look at lists online. No one's playing Necromentia or even Slaughter games. Why are we still splitting our tutors like this? It just doesn't make sense. And it sort of bothers me that people are playing suboptimal configurations because they're still abiding by rules from a year and a half ago when Niv-Delete was viable. Like, this just isn't what we want to be doing, in my opinion. But I'm not here to fix the other version of Lotus Field today. So we're going to be trying out this list. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to jam my 4 wishes. And I felt like the deck just wasn't consistent. So here, instead of playing all those clunky cards, I'm playing 4 copies of Wish that then find my Lotus Field, so I'm actually more consistent. And I think that's something that gets lost in the noise just because the Ultimatum build puts up results because there's more deckless versions of it on MTG Goldfish. I think it's just a self-evaluate or what am I trying to say here? Self-fulfilling prophecy where more people play it, so therefore more results happen and people just assume it's better. When I think the Ultimatum build is actually just not very good. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But I'm going to get off my soapbox now and hop on in and play match number 1. I hope you enjoyed this video. And to address one quick thing in the sideboard, Pat the Peril. I noticed this in a lot of lists, and I actually never got to try it or never got to cast it. I sideboarded it in multiple times in the league, and I just died every time before I could play it. I've been told that it's incredibly good against the Spirits deck because you can play it with your 2 Lotus Fields, and even if your opponent has a Geist Snare or a Mystical Dispute, you can afford to pay the 3 with a pair of Lotus Fields. So I was told that's why this card is good. We're going to play March today as a 1-of just because it does answer Sheoldred if we need it to, but it also gets around Thalia that is indestructible, and I think that has some value as well. All right, that's enough of that for now. Why don't we hop on into match number 1? Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Match number 1. We are on the play with Wish Lotus Combo. Double Behold, not really what we needed here, but we do have an Impulse to help dig for Lotus Field. The question is this the hand actually good enough? I think we could probably do better. Yeah, this is what I would call better. Okay, we'll keep this. Bottom the Otawara. Start off with the Botanical Sanctum. Play it, tap it for a green, a Boreal Grazer, and then we will put a Ketria Triome onto the battlefield. Look at that, great start. Blooming Marsh. Llanowar Elves, take a draw. How about that? Love to see it. Rewarded for leveraging the London Mulligan. That's just good magic. Overgrown Tomb. 3 mana. Steel Leaf. So they're on Elves. Draw. I would love to draw that new card we just added into our deck, Behold the Beyond It now. So let's see if we can draw it on our turn. We'd have 2 mana floating, which should be a deterministic win. Nykthos. Yeah. I'm unable to block. 15. They're passing. Well, that's a good one. Let's cycle this Vizier. One nice thing about switching over to Behold instead of Pore is that you're not punished for drawing more cards. Because with Peer, the more cards you draw, the worse it is, or the lower your life total gets. That just doesn't have the same implication here. Take a draw. Play the Baral. I don't know if Elves plays removal. If I had to guess, they're holding open Collected Company. Play the Pore. Use some green mana. We hit Lier, that's good. So I have 2 8 mana. So I can play Lier, then flashback the Pore. Alright, Lier. Need a good draw off this. Cast it. The opponent just snap concedes. Wow. Let's see if this actually would have even been good. Nope. I would have had to Sylvan Scrying to go get a cycle land. I'll take it though. Thanks for conceding. Card view. Do I even want a sideboard? I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to bring in a couple sweepers. Take out a few Boreal Grazer, maybe. Let's try this. You could also look into maybe boarding in Leyline of Sanctity. If I draw a land, this hand is nuts. Let's risk it. I mean, I'm going to lose to a turn when Thoughtseize, but let's keep it anyway. Live a little, you know? The opponent's kept 6 cards. They then just conceded the game. I am sorry. I don't like my matches, especially when I record them to go like this. But I can't control my opponent deciding to leave. And I was... oh, okay. I would have drawn it and I would have missed the second one I would have hit after that. Alright, 1-0. That was rather uneventful. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2, we're on the draw against TheGodPharaoh. We will keep this hand. It's a little bit slow, but we do have access to Lotus Field via Wish. We have a couple copies of Thespian Stage. I think we're going to be just fine. Play this Catcher of Triumph and pass the turn. Hallowed Fountain. Drowned Catacombs, so likely Esper control. See the truth. What if I refuse? Draw. I think we're just going to cast this Impulse now, so that way we can avoid a counter spell. We did not find what we were looking for. I think we just grab another copy of Impulse. Any order. Pass the turn. Land number 3. The Djinn. Okay, so they're not playing the deck I thought they were. Let's play another copy of Impulse. Picked up a Sylvan Scrying. I think we're actually supposed to take the Hidden Strings here, not the Scrying. Because I have the Wish next turn. Pass. Ooh. I was not expecting a Thoughtseize there. Let's see if they know to take the Wish. They take Impulse, okay. They'll attack for 2, I'll fall to 18. Alright, draw. Think I'm just going to play the Wish and hope that they don't have a counter. I don't want to wait too long when they have a clock and play that quickly grows. And I'm spell pierced. Okay. Play the Mana Confluence, pass the turn. They have 4 cards in hand. We'll take a hit for 3 down to 15. And another Djinn. Baral, my good friend. Blue, colorless. Let's play Baral. They have 6 power coming in next turn. Jeez. I think I need to cycle this Vizier here. Ouch. Cycle. Let's untap the Ketria. Draw card. Land for turn. Pass. They Fatal Push the Baral. And I'm taking 8. I mean, they certainly did their thing here, and we did not draw a Lotus Field. So me selecting the Hidden Strings here maybe bit me in the butt. I don't think... I mean, Path to Peril doesn't answer these. Even if I draw the Lotus Field here, I believe I'm just dead. Off the Impulse. Okay. Lotus Field will sacrifice these 2. Colorless, blue, Hidden Strings. So, assuming that they don't have anything, I can resolve a Pore. And they have a Drawn in the Lock. They just had a million counters this game. Holy moly. We got smushed. So, Esper Tempo is what we're facing here. I don't know if I have a whole lot for this. Could try boarding in 1 copy of Thought Distortion. Take out a Grazer. And I wonder if we want the ley lines over the other Grazers, the Sap Thoughtseize, and any other possible effects. Let's try this out, I suppose. Try that again. We need to draw a land to play Scrying onto against a deck where we saw Spell Pierce. I mean, if we hit the land, this hand's golden. That's a big if. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this is pretty good. Bottom the 2nd copy of Lotus Field. Mana Confluence, pass the turn. Turn 1, Hallowed Fountain. Ketria Triome, pass. Watery Grave, and they're at 16. Founding the Third Path. Not surprised to see that after we saw See the Truth in the first game. In here, they have a copy of Thoughtseize. Vizier down. Draw. Ouch. Sylvan Scrying. Let's grab an Otawara. Play Lotus Field. Sacrifice these two. Pass. They'll target themselves with Founding the Third Path, which is really great for them because it fuels their Djinns that we saw. What is this? Returns a creature with converted mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Double your life total. Target opponent loses half their life rounded up. Monastery Mentor. A true tempo deck. I love it. We're just going to copy. Pass the turn. Now they get to go to Chapter 3 on their Founding the Third Path and flashback this Thoughtseize. You've got it. I imagine they take the Thought Distortion here, but who knows? And they do. 5 cards in the opposing hand. Consider. Courtyard. So they could have Spell Pierce or Mystical Dispute here. We can beat a Spell Pierce, but Dispute would actually get me. Draw. Let's play the Otawara. Attempt to play Pore over pages. Can I have a spell? Hey. Discard a Sylvan Scrying. Pore over pages again. 2 mana floating. And we hit the Behold. I do like that. Okay, so can we win from here? We have 2 mana floating. I'm weak to Spell Pierce is the issue. So if I go Wish Lier, I can't do anything else. Alright, I mean if they have a Spell Pierce, they have a Spell Pierce. Behold. Okay, so we'll select Hidden Strings, and Lier. Strings. They always have it. Okay. Bummer. I mean, I knew what I was doing. Like, I could have played Impulse. I chose not to. They have 4 cards in hand. We need to not die as well. They exile my Wish with Cling to Dust. Okay. They have a land. We're taking a whole bunch of damage here. It's worth noting I am dead to Drown in the Loch. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Blue. Lier. And they did have the Drown in the Loch. So they had Drown in the Loch, or they had Spell Pierce into Drown in the Loch to beat me here. That's a bummer. And we are dead. So we are now 1-1. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Let's bounce back from getting absolutely smushed. Game 1. We have 2 lands. We have Impulse to dig for Lotus Field. Alright, I don't love it, but I'm going to try this out. Opponent with a mulligan. Balagad Recovery as Balagad Sanctum if it would allow me to play it. Pass. Basic Island. Baral, my good friend. I would love to play you. Baral is on the battlefield. Is it spirits? It is spirits. Curious Obsession. And now we take 2. We're going to 18. They draw a card with Spectral Sailor. Spirit, sure. So now we get to resolve Impulse. And the Sylvan Scrying, wow. We're going to play Impulse first, though, to see if we can hit one of the land combo pieces we need. And then we can get the other with this Scrying. So we picked up our stage. And now we can go get Lotus Field. We could even think about maybe trying to win on our turn. Maybe. It's not a guarantee, but it's something we can just consider. No consider jokes about the instant. Pass. Not even going to attack my opponent's life total. Doesn't matter. The only reason we attack is to Cipher in this deck. Okay, well, we'll take 2 down to 16. I'm going to just passing with a bunch of mana open. That makes me not very inclined to try to win. So instead, I'm just going to copy this Lotus Field and pass. They can level up their Ascendant Spirit on my end step. Instead, they play a Rattle Chains. Okay. Land number 4, they have 4 cards in hand. They animate their Faceless Having, so they're just telling me good luck winning here. A little surprised by this. No blocks. They have no blue mana available, and I just get the go-ahead to try to win. I am really surprised by this attack here. This is not what I was expecting. And now we just win the game. Boom. Cycle. Draw. Hidden Strings. No reason to Cipher here whatsoever. Blue, black. Hidden Strings. Roughly infinite mana. Tap for green. I'll get Recovery. Get back the Hidden Strings. Hidden Strings. Alright, it did let me select both. Okay. And now we will cast this Behold the Beyond. Triple Demonic Tutor. Alright, we're just going to make this pretty easy. We're going to grab a Lier, Wish, and why not? Pore over pages. Play Lier. And now from here, let's say we just got a pile that got double Hidden Strings instead. You can now flashback both Hidden Strings into the win. But for now, what I'm going to do is cast this Wish. Okay, so if I want to, I can play Approach. Let's do that. Leave a blue mana floating. Hidden Strings. And if you're going to flash it back from the graveyard, you might as well Cipher, so we'll do that. Play Impulse. Take a Beseiju, who cares? Pore over pages. And the opponent concedes. Alright, so we've gotten game number 1 over Spirits, a matchup that is supposed to be miserable. And now we're going to board in Path to Peril. Path of Peril. Whatever. Here I think we actually want to board out a couple of these Beholds. They're just really, really costly against the deck that has Spell Pierce and a bunch of really cheap counter magic. So we're going to actually board in all 3. We're not going to leave any in for Wish. I think you just want to naturally draw them if you're going to play them. You still have Wish for Beholder Pierce, so I think you're just fine. Game 2. Here we have everything but the Lotus Field. I think I'm actually going to keep this, just because if I do hit the field, I'm feeling very, very confident. Island into Wanderer. Strong start. Draw. Let's play the Botanical Sanctum. I might actually want to cycle this Catcher Trial. I'm not sure. Maybe I should play it for the Wish. I just don't know. Now they have Mausoleum Wanderer. I just don't know if I'll ever be able to play Wish through the Wanderer. Like, it just seems like an impossible task. Alright, I'm going to play the Catcher Triumph. Spectral Sailor, sure thing. And now they'll attack for 3. I go to 15. They get to draw a card. And they're passing with a bunch of open mana. Thespian Stage. Vizier. The plan here with playing the Vizier is assuming that it resolves him. I cannot believe it ain't a Mystical Dispute. Like, truly shocked. If it resolved, I was going to try to play Lier next turn. Because Lier could potentially shut off this Mausoleum Wanderer. Another copy of Curious Obsession. Okay. Now I'm looking into, do I just want to bounce this Mausoleum Wanderer? Or is it too late? To play a land, 5 cards in hand, draw. Play the stage past the turn. I think I'm going to try to bounce the Wanderer. Maybe it's a lost cause. Sailor, sure thing. Another Curious Obsession. It's like they're just trying to hurt my feelings at this point. Otawara the Wanderer. They have the rattle chains. Slip out the back. A little surprised they even left that in. Okay. Yeah, pretty confident that I'm just dead here. Draw. So this is going to be 3, 5, 6. So if they have another spirit, I'm just dead, but I believe I'm supposed to play the Lier. Blue, blue. You got it. Too powerful. We'll go to the next game. Obviously, I was punished for my decision to keep that hand. But if I had drawn Lotus Field, I think that game is very, very winnable. Let's try that again. One thing to note about this Behold list, you're considerably weaker to spirits without Niv Mizzet in your deck. It's just something worth thinking about. I don't know how that affects things for the most part. Like, you could run a more stock list with Behold in the main deck and still run Niv, I suppose. It's just so much more work in order to win. Like, you could potentially, instead of casting Approach to win, you could Wish again and then March of the Swirling Mist the Sheoldred and then Pore. But in order to get to that point, there's so many hoops you have to jump through. And it also assumes that you haven't used a number of hidden strings already. I really would like to draw one more land, but we'll keep this. Play a Besiege, pass the turn. Basic Island, and they're passing. Love to see it. Draw. There's that land I wanted. Perfect. No creature. Island, island. For a Supreme Phantom. Draw. Looking good. We're going to play Lotus Field, pass the turn after that. I actually have Pat the Peril on my next turn if I want to cast it. We could even also try to win. I mean, it's super, super unlikely. But I could cycle Vizier, copy stage, hidden strings, and then try to do my thing. Assuming that they tapped out here. But it's just really, really aggressive. And they wisely leave open mana instead. Wish number 3. Let's just copy. Pass. They'll attack for 2. I go to 16, and they have 3 available mana. 4 mana. Passing. Let's view our sideboard. Cycle Vizier. Untap Lotus Field. Draw. And a hidden strings. Alright, that resolves. Good deal. Play Wish. Come on, just let it go. What could possibly happen? I will pay for these Spell Pierce. Wish it on the stack. Thought Distortion you. Oh, I tapped wrong. Cancel. Undo. Tap for black. Thought Distortion. They slip out the back. Okay. Otawara. And a couple lands. We'll pass the turn. They play a Faceless Haven, so we knew that they drew a land for turn. That's giving me some free information there. So they have one unknown. Draw. Stage. I'm going to play this Path to Peril. Or Path of Peril. I need to get used to saying that. Just pass the turn. They play another island. So they have Otawara. I think they might have one more island that I'm unaware of. I'm not quite sure. I am willing to take 4 here, so I will go to 9. On their end step, I'm going to copy Lotus Field. Draw. Impulse. Wish. Blue. Blue. Red. Let's play a Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. 3 mana. We can pay for this. The issue here is that they can bounce it next turn without Otawara, but I don't know if that actually matters. Alright, so they did have one more island. They animate the Faceless Haven. They can actually attack and then bounce my Lier, which is not very nice. I will not block. I'll go to 5 life. Draw. Ooh, you can target opponent's creatures with slip out the back. I didn't know that. I mean, it makes sense. Sure. Draw. And I drew another one? Love it. Okay. Let's play another Lier. How do we want to play this turn? I think we need to start off on hidden strings. Yes, yes. And this card's going to be exiled, so we might as well cipher it. So I can play Wish. So I have 2 mana floating. So this is 8, 9, 10. Wish into Behold is exactly 10, but I won't have any mana to do anything. Think we need to try to get lucky with an Impulse. Vizier. It's not great. Balagad actually doesn't do me any favors here. Take the Vizier. Cycle. Untap the Lotus Field. Draw. Let's cast the Impulse again. Alright, we found Pore. That was great. We will tap some mana, play Pore over pages. Untap, untap. Discard this Grazer. Cast Pore again. Hi-oh. Discard Lotus Field. Cycle. Untap. Draw. Alright, so now we have 3 floating. Plus 8 in play, which is 11. So I'm 1 mana short of Wish into Behold to win the game. We have to Impulse again. Gladly take another Pore. cast it. Untap, untap, discard the scrying. Baral should make things pretty easy. Let's pop this graveyard. I'm tired of it shifting. Play Pore. Untap our lands. Holy moly, we've done it. Alright, so now we have 28 cards left. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Make some more mana here. Pour over pages. Scarred Scrying, I guess. Tap for red. Wish. Add black. We'll play Behold. Hidden Strings, Hidden Strings. And our opponent's just conceded the game. Is it going to make me finish resolving this? Okay. We're now 2-1. We beat an incredibly tough matchup. I do feel like we got a little bit lucky here, but hey, I'll take a victory. 2 more rounds left. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Match 4, we are on the play. Let's get it. So here we have a Catch Your Traum as a land, no second land. I think you're supposed to just ship this back. Okay, but let's try this out. We'll keep and get rid of the Behold. Actually, I think it's supposed to be the Wish. Because the Sylvan Scrying needs to get Lotus Field in order to cast the Wish anyway, and then Wish doesn't do anything extra, so you're better off having Behold in your hand. We've played the Botanical Sanctum, opponent plays a Swamp. No. That hurt. They take the Sylvan Scrying, and now we're in an odd spot. And I would have drawn the Thespian stage. Ah, that's brutal. Pass the turn. They play a basic mountain. Blood Tithe Harvester. Well, there's a chance that we see a Sheoldred this matchup for Behold the Beyond to find out if that's actually relevant. Baral. I think I'm supposed to sit on this in my hand. I'm going to copy the mountain, which it seems like it doesn't matter, but if I draw another copy of Wish, it does allow me to get Lotus Field immediately. They play a Haunted Ridge, and now it looks like they're using their blood token, discarding a Fatal Push, and I look like a real genius for not playing this Baral. Paraxa. Let's copy the mountain. I guess I should have copied the Haunted Ridge. That was a mistake. Paraxa happens. Discard the Baral still. I just don't think it's ever going to live. And we'll take 3 from the Blood Tithe Harvester, going to 17 life. I would desperately love to draw Lotus Field here. Pretty close, and I'm rewarded for copying my opponent's mountain. Boom, just like we drew it up. Grab that Lotus Field. Sacrifice the 2 non-mountains. Pass the turn. Another Kroxa, what a jerk. Discard the Besiju. And we're going to get bullied here by the Blood Tithe Harvester, going to 11 life. They have 3 cards in hand. Blood Crypt down to 2. They're pretty close to escaping Kroxa. We're going to copy this Lotus Field. And I'm going to keep this Otawara in hand in case they play a Liliana of the Veil or find a way to escape Kroxa. I don't think I'm actually gaining a whole lot by playing out the Otawara. They're Fatal Pushing their own copy of Blood Tithe Harvester. And that's a wise play because it gives them the exact number of cards to escape Kroxa this turn. So they're telling me, hey, you've got to win now. And I'm glad that I have this Otawara in hand, that's for sure. I feel like I've played this game fairly well so far. Discard the Otawara. Draw. We hit the 3rd land anyway. Beautiful. Okay, blue, hidden strings. Yes, yes, no. Black mana. Behold the beyond. And this is just a deterministic win. What's cool here is we can get Lier, Baral, Chief of Compliance, and another copy of Hidden Strings. So let's do that. Blue, play the Baral. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Tap for blue. Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes. And yes, we would like to Cipher just because it gets exiled anyway, so we might as well put it on our creature. And then we will Hidden Strings again. Yes, yes, no. Black mana. Let's Behold the Beyond. Yeah, let's float a black mana, why not? Now we can grab Hidden Strings, and another Behold. Which seems silly, but it's how you beat the Sheoldred, and that's what I'm trying to demonstrate here. Like, I could get Pore over pages or whatever, but I'm just trying to demonstrate that you don't ever actually need that. Okay. Now we tap for red. Play Wish. Tap for white. We'll cast Approach of the Second Sun with roughly 1,000,000 mana floating. Hidden Strings to untap. Yes, yes, yes. Cipher onto our Baral. Hidden Strings. I don't know why I tapped for blue again, but I did. Tap this for a black. Behold. And now we grab the Approach. Let's just grab an Adawara because we can, and then another copy of Wish. And once again, because we can, we'll bounce their Croxa just to prove a point. And Approach. Hiya! We did it without ever drawing a card. That is how you beat Sheoldred. That's the game plan, at least for now. I'm glad I got to do it. Like, people kept on conceding, but I'm glad this happened. But let's just focus on winning game number 2 right now. Let's not get too proud of ourselves that we won a game 1. Alright, so we want to bring in this Leyline of Sanctity, get rid of this Arboreal Grazer. And we still have 1 Grazer in our deck we don't really want. I don't think Needle's actually that good here. I like Lier being in the sideboard. I tried boarding into 4 copies of Lotus Field, but I think that's sort of stinky. Should I board in the Lotus Field? I don't think so. So now I'm trying to decide between March and Path. Let's just put the March in the main deck. We can get it with a Behold to answer Sheoldred if we so choose. And I think that has some value. Very good hand. Keep. Keep. Put that Leyline of Sanctity right on the battlefield where it belongs. Take that, Thoughtseize. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Sure thing. Botanical Sanctum, pass that turn. Den of the Bugbear. So many man lands. What is that? I've never seen this card before. When it enters the battlefield with 3 1/1 counters, or with 3 charge counters on it, pay 2 mana, remove a charge counter, draw a card. If there are no charge counters on it, create a treasure token and a 1/1 pilot. Crew for 3. Okay. Card I don't care about. Just like this Leyline of Sanctity. Pass the turn. I can always impulse on their end step for a little bit more information. I doubt my decision will change, but you never know. Blood Crypt. Lily, welcome. We'll each discard a card. Well, I've got a card for you, Liliana. How about this Leyline of Sanctity? It's worth noting that the Liliana Ultimate does target a player, so we're not actually worried about that, at least for now. Impulse versus Forest. I think I'm going to take another Impulse here. Okay, take a draw. Did not hit a land. Let's try Impulsing. We found the field. It stinks knowing that I'm going to be sacrificing this, though. I think I just have to take the Lotus Field, unfortunately. Play it. And we lose our Thespian stage because I couldn't find a land. I believe I'm going to end up discarding the Wish here. The Wish doesn't actually help me with anything. Like, getting another copy of Lotus Field doesn't matter. I guess I could Needle the Liliana. Or the Sorin. I don't actually care about the Sorin either. Goodbye, Wish. Come on, this stage. Another ley line. Pass the turn. They activate the Sorin. They find Sheoldred, so these pour over pages are now shut off. Yep. Well, I guess they're not shut off. I still have a reasonable life total for the moment. Now they attack for 6. Ouch. I'm actually pretty close to death. Discard the ley line. Draw. And that's not going to get the job done. We're going to game 3. Wow, even with the turn 1 ley line, it wasn't good enough. It's a little disappointing. Let's just resubmit. My opening hand was good. I could have taken the Forest instead of the second Impulse, but then it would have taken me even longer to find that Lotus Field I impulsed into. So maybe it was just a little bit of bad variance there, but drawing all 3 copies of Leyline was a little disappointing. I could have drawn Balagad Recovery to slowly get back to the Thespian stage. Like, we had options or lines. On the play for the 3rd game. It's not very good against discard, but I'm going to try it. Play the Triome, pass the turn. Urborg. Into Thoughtseize. That's a real bummer. Baral was the selection. A little surprised by that. Pass the turn. Maybe they just have more than one discard spell. That would make sense if it was the case. And there it is. Surprise, surprise. Blood Crypt. I think I'm supposed to cycle this Vizier now. I tap the Triome. Impulse. Woohoo. Draw a card. Baral, the one who complies. Let's play this Mana Confluence. We can actually tap it for a black using the Urborg. Play the Baral. Right into the Liliana curve. It will be beautiful. And then Impulse. Let's take the Wish here because it gives us a Lotus Field next turn, which is really what we're looking for. So I think that's fine. Haunted Ridge. Graveyard Trespasser. Okay, so it's going to shut off Lier a little bit. They take the Baral. Interesting. Draw. Vizier. We're going to hang on to that. Play this Wish. Lotus Field. Sacrifice these. Pass the turn. No, I will not be attacking. No blocks. I will go to 16. They get to exile a card from a graveyard. And they hit the Wish. Like I mentioned, no blocks. Land number 4. There's Sheoldred. They're going to get me for an extra 2 life with this Vizier because I didn't play it earlier. Sylvan Scrying. Grab our stage. Copy the Lotus Field and just pass. So I'm taking 7. I'll be at 7 life. Draw sub puts me to 5. I mean, there's a chance. They remove the other copy of Wish. That makes sense. No blocks. I go to 7. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. They have 3 open mana. And you're just passing with 3 open mana, huh? Okay, so I have the option to double cycle Viziers here. I need to find the... what is it called? The Behold the Beyond. That would win the game here. Draw. That is not a Behold the Beyond. Let's make some more mana. Cycle. I go to 1 life. What is it? What is it? And I am dead to Stomp. Bummer. Yeah, you got me. The Sheoldred will kill me here. Balaged Recovery would have been the card. So I could have gotten back Impulse with a couple mana floating. I'm going to look at the top 4. I'd like to see how this game played out. I do have the choice at some point to Sylvan Scrying for Otawara. It's just a lot of mana. So let's see what the top 4 off Impulse would have been. Another Impulse, which would have found Otawara and a garbage. I don't know if we were going to win that game. Unfortunate. We are now 2-2. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. The 5th and final match of this league. Let's get our money back. I would really, really enjoy that. Keep. Balaged Sanctuary past the turn. And you might be wondering, Bryant, you have 2 other lands in your hand. You're going to get 2 more lands. Why play the Sanctuary here? I want to leave open Besiju. That's the real thing. Obviously, I didn't know that I was going to drop Mana Confluence. It happens. But I still think it's the correct decision based on the information that we had. Alright, so Bant Spirits maybe? Yeah, this is looking like Bant Spirits. Okay then. Play Baral. Play Lotus Field. Spirits twice this league, huh? That's not normal. They're also on the build that has main deck removal for a deterministic combo. I don't like that. Mausoleum Wanderer. Supreme Phantom. They're getting in there. What jerks. Draw. I'm going to try to trick them into countering this Sylvan Scrying. And they let it happen. Really? Grab the Otawara, I guess. They called my bluff. Powerful Wizard. Pass. Land number 4. Collected Company's likely on the menu here. No blocks. And here's the Collected Company main phased. Showing me what their cards are. Spellqueller, Mausoleum Wanderer. So I have to be able to win through double Mana Leak effect. And a instant speed Tormod's Crypt. Cool, this won't be difficult at all. And or miserable. Lovely. I'm at 9. This would have been a lot worse, though, if they did this at instant speed. Drew another land. Let's start off by cycling this Vizier of the Tumbling Sands. Untap our Lotus Field. Draw. Another land. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so I have 1 mana floating. I believe they have me here. Am I wrong? 7 mana. No, I can pay. I can pay. Although, I've seen a lot of lands this game. Behold. Can we actually use that to win? I don't think we can. 3 floating. This costs 6. So I can play it, but then I have to tap out. Let's see if they sacrifice the Double Wanderer here. They let it go. Okay, so here's the thing. With them having Double Wanderer, they can get me a few different ways, but I think we could actually trick them if we want to. I could get like double Hidden Strings plus another Behold here. But then I believe we'd only have... No, we have all 4 strings. If I get Vizier, Hidden Strings, Pore, I could actually play through the pair of Mausoleum Wanderers, but I don't know if that's actually better than just like getting these. Tough call here. Do I have enough mana to peer? That's another question. Probably not. Let's just do the Hidden Strings line. So we're going to get another Behold. Add some blue mana. Hidden Strings. Let's pay for to make them sacrifice the other Wanderer. Hold on. I didn't think this through. I think this actually stops me. Maybe not. Now they sacrifice the other. Okay, so now I can Hidden Strings. Untap, tap. I think this should work. Yes. Yes. Yes, and now we'll cipher onto the Baral. Now Baral goes to combat. Attack with the Baral Chief of Compliance, and we will get to cipher our copy of Hidden Strings here. The Baral triggers. Cast the Hidden Strings targeting your Lotus Fields. Yes, yes. Okay, so blue, black. Behold the Beyond. Just trying to think this through. So if I get Hidden Strings, that's all 4 of my strings, and they can exile them with the Remorseful Cleric. So it becomes actually kind of difficult to win after that. If I get Hidden Strings, what I want to do, and I don't think I have enough mana for it, is Hidden Strings, Lier, Pore, because I can't double Pore after that. So I could like Hidden Strings into Pore and hope that gets the job done. I think that's the line. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. 37 cards in deck. 4 over pages. That was terrible? Why would you do that to me, deck? Come on, please. Have a Grazer as a blocker. 4. We found the Lier, but they're just going to exile my graveyard. Yep. I wish I had something else here. Play Grazer. Put in Thespian stage. Pass the turn. Now I have to top deck something. Another Supreme Phantom. Wow. So now I have to top deck the win. Holy moly. Block the Spell Queller. I wonder if there is a better line I could have gone with that last Behold. Please, deck. Please give me something good here. And tap and draw. Nope. What a disappointment. I battled so hard this game. Damn. Just dead. Okay. That's a bummer. Do I want TheGodPharaoh in my deck? I don't actually know the answer to this question. It's a lot worse against Bant Spirits because they have a higher curve. I would shave one Behold. And then... I don't know. I'm just not going to board that in, I think. Just resubmit. It's just not good against this version of Spirits. This is brutal. Have to mulligan that. Ay, ay, ay. Going to 5. Something about slow and steady. You're supposed to keep the Grazer to stay alive. I think the answer to that question is actually yes. Okay. Pass the turn. Island into Mausoleum Wanderer. Of course. Yes. Play the Sanctuary, and now we play the Grazer into Lotus Field. Sacrifice these and pass the turn. Shacklegeist, okay. Draw. Sylvan Scrying. Go get that copy of Thespian Stage and play it. Pass. Not bad for a Mold of 5. You just have to draw into an action spell now. They tap my Grazer. Another Wanderer. That's not annoying at all. And now I'm being punished for not boarding in my Path to Perils. I say that and then they play a Selfless Spirit, so what do I know? Alright, 15 life. Okay. Pass. Maybe the sideboard just needs to be reworked. Draw. It's not very good. Pass. 3 mana for a Spell Queller. They have 2 cards left. Block the Shacklegeist, I guess. That's 6 damage coming in. I'm at 3. Can we hit a top deck? Copy Lotus Field. You could use the Otawara here to bounce something, but that's not going to keep me alive on the following turn. So, like, you could bounce like a Shacklegeist or something, but I'm still dead, so there's no point in doing that. Untap and we have to hit. I believe we're dead. Let's start off with casting this Hidden Strings. 3 mana for a Spell Queller. Didn't see that coming. And now their Wanderers get even larger. So we can bounce the Spell Queller and get back our Hidden Strings, which is why we didn't want to waste this Otawara. The issue is that we needed the Sylvan Scrying to be a card that actually had text on it. And this doesn't, so we're dead. So we can cast this, targeting our 2 copies of Lotus Field. They sacrifice a Mausoleum Wanderer. Let's pay. Okay. Yes. Yes. No. I can actually buy myself a turn here by getting the other Otawara. But then next turn we have to win through a Spell Queller, which is going to just be very, very tough. I'm actually also dead to 1-drop Shacklegeist. Let's bounce this. Pass the turn. Block. I think Pore over Pages is probably my best draw. I mean, that one's not bad. I just don't know if it wins here because we know that they have a Spell Queller. Play Behold. So we know that they have Spell Queller. So if I'm trying to beat that, I can get Vizier, Pore here. Okay. Cycle. Untap Lotus Field. Draw a card. Not very good. Doesn't even tap for a mana. In fact, that was terrible. Untap. Draw. Impulse. Play Pore. No, hold on. We did not win this. I got excited a minute for a second thinking I won this. The Spell Queller exiles, it does not counter. So that's an issue. I would need them to counter the impulse like a dummy. That's the only way that I think I win this. Come on, please bite on this. Please. They did not. Okay. So I can get another Vizier. I could take another Impulse, but there's no reason for them to ever counter it. That's the issue. I think my only game plan here is to cycle into the third copy of Hidden Strings. Yeah, I think it has to be Vizier. Alright, please, deck. Cycle Vizier. Also, I guess a Pore over Pages could do it. That would also be amazing here. Draw off a Vizier. Damn. We are dead. It would take a really big punt from the opponent here for me to win this. They would have to not counter this Hidden Strings, or not exile this Hidden Strings. And here it is. There's the Spell Queller. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Even if I cycled into a Grazer, I have to pass the turn and die. Okay, so we finished this league 2-3. Not the best record. We did face Spirits twice, which is a very difficult matchup. And honestly, I didn't like how my sideboard was built. I think that we need to make some adjustments. So I was told that Path of Peril is really good in the Spirits matchup, and it felt like I didn't want it. And I think that's a pretty big concern for me, that it's only good against mono blue Spirits, that is. And Needle never came up, but it's really good against the Nykthos ramp decks, but we never faced it because you name Karn, so they can never even get Damping Sphere. I need to really think about how I want this sideboard to be constructed. I think the big hole right now is these 4 cards. These are the slots I want to work with. I think we definitely want the Leyline of Sanctity, but these 4 cards I think need to change. If you have any thoughts, questions, suggestions, whatever, put those down below for those slots. And I really do appreciate you watching. Thank you. I think that the Behold, despite going 2-3 today, is what you want to be doing if you want to be beating Sheoldred. I think that this list has some other positive things going on for it, aside from the more traditional Wish-based deck. This is what I was playing previously. I like having the extra Boseiju and the extra untapped green source. That's felt really nice. When I had to cast Approach, it was never an issue, so I don't know if you necessarily need the Niv Mizzet, but Niv is also really, really good against Spirits, so I'm a little torn at the moment. And now I'm getting a little bit rambly, so I'm just going to leave. Thanks for watching, I do appreciate it, and as always, keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.